Another prophecy I believe God has given me on the 27th of the 6th, 2023, and it's titled War is Coming. 1 Samuel 14 verse 6. Jonathan said to his armor-bearer, "Come on, let's go across to the garrison of these uncircumcised people. Maybe Adonai will do something for us, since Adonai can rescue with a few people as easily as with many." The days of Saul have been numbered. The season of Saul always starts well, but sometimes goes astray. To be a man or woman who loves me is not enough to be one who leads my people. Many pastors in this day have been Sauls, men and women who love me yet lean on their own understanding. Saul is great at strategy and warcraft, but his emphasis is always on his own strength and his own abilities. He doesn't think to look to me for wisdom, counsel, and might. Such things would be considered foolish to Saul. Saul is one who fears man and his opinions. He capitulates to the pressures of man instead of following in my ways. 1 Samuel 13 verses 8 to 9. Saul waited 7 days, as Samuel had instructed, but Samuel didn't come to Gilgal. So the army began to drift away from Saul, and Saul said, "Bring me the burnt offering and the peace offerings," and he offered the burnt offering. When the pressure is on, Saul will justify his ends even when it violates my word, written or prophetic. 1 Samuel 13 to 14. You did a foolish thing. You didn't observe the commandment of Adonai which he gave you. If you had, Adonai would have set up your kingship over Israel forever. But as it is, your kingship will not be established. Adonai has sought for himself a man after his own heart, and Adonai has appointed him to be the prince over his people, because you did not observe what Adonai ordered you to do. I'm taking away the kingdom from my Sauls and giving it to my Jonathans and Davids. I've seen how over the last 30 years many Sauls have hounded and tried to put down the Jonathans and the Davids. You have sought them out and oppressed them and suppressed them. Because like Saul, you saw something in them which you knew you lacked. You considered them to be dangerous for you. Yes, some of them were young, immature, and underdeveloped in maturity. Yes, many of them were rough around the edges. But Saul, you were to bless them and to train them up. You were supposed to teach them your strengths and abilities, that it may help them overcome their shortcomings. In fairness, some Sauls have done the right thing and trained and equipped my Davids. A war is coming, the likes never seen before in modern days. The enemy will be considered a giant to many, too strong and too powerful to topple. The might of Saul will simply not prevail in these days. Only those with the spirit of Caleb, Joshua, Jonathan, David, Esther, and Deborah will prevail in the days ahead. For it's not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit. Zechariah 4:6. In the days ahead I will pour out my spirit for my people to do exploits. Some shall run through a troop, leap over a wall, or slay the Goliaths of the day. But the ways of Saul will simply not work or suffice in those days. I need my people to be daring, to be bold, to expect me to move as they run and charge the enemy as David did to Goliath. 1 Samuel 17:48. These are the days of Elijah. These are the days of mighty prophets and great leaders to arise. My church needs shepherds, and my church requires mighty men and women who are valiant in the realms of faith and prayer to lead my people to battle. It is time to take the promised land. It is time to take the land for me and reinstate my statutes and ways over this nation again as it once was. This battle will be long and it will be arduous. It will take a generation to reinstate that which was lost. This nation needs to be ready and come back to how she once was, if she is to be ready for the last days and face off the rise of the Antichrist and his beastly worker of miracles. The sands of time are slipping away, but as the top of the hourglass runs out, the bottom of the hourglass is the increase of my glory and power over my people. Some of my Jonathans and Davids are old men and women now, but I say to you, be like Caleb. Gird your sword on your thigh and go to war. Fight and be strong in the power of my might, not your own. Ephesians 6:10. Your age is irrelevant, for I'll pour out my spirit upon all flesh, including children, young people, middle-aged and the elderly. In your weakness you are strong. 2 Corinthians 12:9-10. I command you not to disqualify yourselves. David was a youth when he slew Goliath, and Caleb was an old man when he fought the enemies of Israel. Your age and experience is nothing to me. I require you to have a humble and contrite heart, Psalm 51 verse 17. I require you to simply say, "Here I am, send me," Isaiah 6:8. Finally, I say to my Sauls, you need to prepare the Jonathans and Davids and be prepared to hand the keys over to them. If you do this, I will exceedingly reward you with honor and blessings. My Sauls, many of you have done well and run a good race, but you need to know that everything is about to change. You need to be brave and be strong, and when I instruct you, hand over the keys. A new darkness is coming, a new enemy from the pit is being released. The old ways will no longer work or suffice. Only the warriors of faith will prevail against the unclean spirits that are coming. I love you, my church. I love you all dearly. It's time to begin. It's time to dust off your swords, oil your shields, and put on the armor of God. It's time to go to war.